selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector.
Welcome to the IPA Champions Cup, live on Sporty Stuff TV.
A very good evening and welcome to semi-final Sunday, day 7 of Champions Cup, Sporty Stuff TV, Champions Cup of Pool, and what a night we've got in store tonight. Absolutely fantastic. We've got 5 more matches to come this evening, and I've got with me the pool expert, Mr. Mark Pickworth. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Gary. How are you doing?
Yeah, great night tonight, mate, and we're in your hands tonight. Some real good matches tonight we've got, and we want you to take us through it tonight, and we want some selections from you tonight for our viewers out there. We want to win a few quid tonight as well, Mark.
Well, no pressure then on me then.
Plenty of pressure.
Putting all the pressure on me then tonight.
Plenty of pressure. So.
Well, I've got plenty of statistics, so it's going to be, if anybody wants a bet out there, I think just listening to this part of the show is very important.
We want a bit of value as well. That's what it's all about, a bit of value. And our 4 players this evening we've got here today, we've got Liam Dunster. What can we say about Liam?
Well, there's no more you can say about Liam. He's the world #1. He's already won 12 frames out of 12 in his previous group on the very first day. Then we've got Dean Shields, and we will talk a little bit more about Dean Shields' match, who's just played against Cory Rees. But both of them have been in red-hot form. And one key thing about these 3 players I've just mentioned there, they've all won 3 out of 3 matches. So they need to, look, obviously they're going to lose a match at some point today.
Cory Rees, he's won 3 out of 3. He's unbeaten, isn't he, so far?
He certainly is, yeah. And then Conor Treacy on the end. You've got to feel sorry for him in this group with them 3 players that have won 3 out of 3. But Conor's got a good record as well. He's won 2 and lost 1.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Well, we're definitely going to have a lot more about Mr. Nice Guy.
And looking at the first match we got on this evening, we've got Liam Dunster to win the group here. He was 4 to 5, but you know all these odds now, they're not available because we've already had 1 match that was on YouTube this evening at 9 o'clock. But before it started, this was the prices they were. Liam was 4 to 5, Dean Shields 7 to 2, Cory Rees 11 to 4, and Conor Treacy 11 to 1. But don't forget they were prices before the matches this evening. We've already had 1 match, and so really and truly, them prices, where they're up there, they're not available. But our first match this evening, we've got Liam Dunster. He's going to be a really short price favourite, Mark, to beat Conor Treacy, isn't he?
He is, but let's just talk about them odds that was up there. I think the betting partners have got it right, and it's sort of important just to show our audience about how the betting partners have worked it out, and to have Cory Rees as a second favourite, which we're going to mention, because if you didn't join us on YouTube, we've already had a first match, but we will talk about that later in this programme. But we do need to see some form of some players. So if we can have a look at Liam Dunster, and then we'll have a look at his form. So the way that he's got here, 3 out of 3 matches, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. And yet, yes, that's against 3 amateur players. But then 3 amateur players there, they're going to be professional players next season. So it's still a phenomenal result. But Liam could have lost a couple of them frames. But did them players just sort of got a bit nervous, thinking, I'm going to take the first frame off Liam Dunster there. And that's what triggered it. But in the end, Liam Dunster, phenomenal on the night, 12 out of 12. And here he is, the world #1, the Duster. Look at that win-lose record.
Unbelievable.
9 wins, 1 loss.
Who did he lose to?
He lost to Mark Farnsworth in the final. And, Mark Farnsworth is the number 2 seed, which we're going to see in event 2.
Number 2 seed?
Yeah, and he's going to see him in event 2. 2021 win percent, 72%. There's no better record that I've seen for the event 1. And the career win percentage of 70% over 6 years is a phenomenal achievement.
Dean Shields we've got coming up, who played in the first match.
He has, but Dean Shields, look at his form there, who he beat. Conor Treacy, Matthew Coates and John McAllister. John McAllister, 2020 world champion. He is out of the Champions Cup 2022. But in that group, he's won 3 out of 3. And we're going to talk about Conor's results already. He's already beat Conor. Is Conor going to get some revenge on Dean Shields? We're going to have to wait and see. And there he is, the shootout, ranking number 15, win-lose ratio there. Won 6, lost 4. 59% in 2021 and 61% in his career. Yes, it looks like he's a little bit out of form, but the way that he played in his group stage was phenomenal. He played some awesome
this
stuff.
evening unbeaten as well, wasn't he, before that first match as well. So Dean's been playing really well. And now we've got Cory Rees, haven't we? And what more can we say about Cory Rees? Unbeaten before coming into tonight, and he is really, really. I think he's got a big chance tonight, Mark.
Yeah, he has. And look, three out of 3 wins. Alex O'Donoghue, a professional. Chris Kingham, who did an amazing performance on the night. Played some great stuff. And then look at the bottom. Clint Jansen, our number 5 seed, lost 4-0. And the number 5 seed, Clint Jansen, he's also out of the Champions Cup 2020.
And to me, that night, when he beat Clint 4-0, that was absolutely first class, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's remember, Clint Jansen is a multiple IPA winner. There was Cory Rees, for me, he could easily get into the top 8 this coming season.
Top 8?
Definitely. He's playing some great stuff. And there, Cory, look, so ranked number 13. And the win-lose there, look, he's won 7, lost 3. He's in a little bit of form. 2021 percentage, 61%. But look at that career win, 68%. That is phenomenal achievement. And Cory, like I said, he's in form. He's going to take some stopping tonight.
Against Liam.
We're going to have to watch that match very much at the end.
Conor Treacy, the outsider of the party this evening?
Yeah, and this tournament so far has been about the outsiders. There could be some more shocks. There was guaranteed to be some more shocks. I'm putting it out there now. Then 3 matches, look, he's already got previous one against Dean Shields. Like I said, is he going to get revenge tonight? He's already lost 4-2 to him. But again, the world champion, John McAllister, he's beaten him 4-1. And there's not many players on the circuit that will beat John McAllister.
But has Conor been in form? Has he been in form lately, Conor?
Mr. Nice Guy, he needs to get rid of that Mr. Nice Guy tag. He can't be Mr. Nice Guy tonight. And ranking at 33, but look at that, the win-lose ratio in there, look. He's got 7 losses in the middle there, and that's what it sort of says is that out of form, and that 38% in 2021 win, and then the career win of 59% says he's out of form. But we saw what he produced in that group stage, and he played some great stuff.
He played very, very well.
He had to wait and sort of into that very last group, because he was one of the best runners up out of the 6 groups. So he had to wait to that very last night to see if he just sneaked through. But he deserves his place, and he deserves to be playing here tonight.
Yeah, I think we've got some real good matches coming on. We've got Conor Treacy as well against Cory Rees, haven't we? Coming up as well. Cory Rees going to be big favourite for that now, I think. Originally he was about 8-11. I don't think he'll be 8-11 now. I think he could be around about the 4-7 mark. So if you fancy Conor Rees, you've got to shop around, go to our betting partners. As I always tell you, there is value out there, but you've got to find it. But how would you rate this, Mark?
Well, the match is Conor Treacy against Liam Dunster next. Right, that is something that we're going to have to watch. It's going to be a phenomenal match. We've already seen Dean Shields against Cory Rees. Cory Rees has won that match 4-1, so he is now top of that leaderboard. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this match turns out, because Liam's probably watched that downstairs and he thinks, oh God, we've got a group on our hands here. This is going to be tough, but he's got to overcome Conor first. Yes, is this possibly on pen and paper is the easiest match for him, but you've still got to produce it in that studio setting. And can Liam do it? Yes, he can.
Going to be a night of legends tonight, isn't it? And also, what legend we've got as well this evening, haven't we? In the commentating box, all the way from Toronto, we've got Jim White, haven't we, as well there? And we're going to look at the odds now for all our matches we've got here this evening. As you see, it's just going to come up on the screen here. Cory Rees has already won. You know, you can't be nice to back 6-5 Cory Rees now after that 4-1 win. We've got Liam Dunster, as I said, one of the shortest price matches of the evening, 1-2. Then we've got Conor Treacy 3-1, 8-11 Cory Rees there, and the last 3 matches there. But then prices will change as we go along. So got some great, well, it's a fantastic night of pool this evening, and also we've got the North East finest referee, haven't we, in control tonight, Mr. Brian Moss. So Brian, you take it away. Good luck, boys.
Champions Cup, Stage 2, Group A match, best of 6 frames. First frame, Conor Treacy to break. Time running.
And a very warm welcome back. You're watching the 2022 Champions Cup on Sporty Stuff TV. You had a chance to catch our first match on YouTube. Great performance from Cory Rees. And that will have sent a message loud and clear in the arena. And here you go, Liam. It's now down to you. The tournament favorite, Liam Dunster, has yet to lose a frame in this year's Cup. And Dan, you just can't see him going through undefeated again.
Look, as good as Liam Dunster is, and he's in a rich vein of form at the moment, arguably the best player on the planet. But you can't just keep on going through beating top players 4-0 all the time, surely. It's not going to carry on. But is he favourite for this tournament? Yes. Is there good reason for that? Yes. He is ultra consistent. And you see there, wow.
He's ultra human,
isn't it? Wait, I say that I'm going to stick up from here, Jim. I think that was a massive kick. You could hear the thud when he hit that, and he looks a bit bemused in his seat. It's about as much emotion as you're ever going to get from Liam.
Extension play.
Yeah, you don't get much emotion from many Scotsmen, do you? They're all business.
No, that's right. Unless it's their round at the bar. Very upset then. Friend told me that Liam, when he's at home, he actually turns off the gas to flip the bacon. Ooh, wow.
Conor probably a little bit nervous, and Liam obviously needs to settle in as well. It's the first frame, our second match in this group. Conor knows that if he's going to try and display somebody like Liam Dunster, the #1 ranked player in the IPA Tour, he's got to take advantage of every chance he gets.
He does, yeah. And I think he just took his eye off the pot a little bit there, Jim. He was more concerned about where the cue ball was going and almost cheeking the pocket a little bit to squeeze that cue ball up table. But the end result means that Liam's in and pretty much got an ABC sort of finish here. The only thing that can really go wrong is the red at the very bottom of the table. But he's got the perfect... His reds are in the perfect position for him to be able to link up to that.
Well, just overrun for me what would have been ideal position, straighter on this red. He'd have been able to take the 3 nearest the bottom of the table, leave that one over the left center, which would afford perfect position the final black. Should still be able to do that, just made his work a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's an example of pattern play. These top players, you know, there may be 4 or 5 different ways they can go about clearance, but they'll be figuring out what way is going to make it easiest for them. See, one of the things that Liam needed to make sure of there is he didn't leave himself straight. So he's got a nice natural angle now to drift up table slightly. And as you say, perfect ball in the left middle pocket to give good position on the black.
And just a soft screw back to the middle of the table. This is a little bit more like it. What we've come to expect from the Duster. He secures the opening frame. 1-0, heavily favored in this one. Still, you've got to do the business at the table. 1-0 leads Conor Treacy. And obviously, as we've already noted, Liam would have had the opportunity to see how well Cory Rees played against Dean Shields in the first match. 4-1 win in favor of Cory. So as Conor looks on as well, he too will be well aware. Results in the early going, pivotal.
He's got to put that to the back of his mind now, that mistake. It happens. Can't play perfect all the time. There's 5 more frames
Frame
potentially
2.
left in this match, so
Liam Dunster to break.
just needs to. You
Leaving
can't
1 frame to
hypnotise
nil.
yourself. You can't
Time
forget
run.
what's happened, but you just need to try and put it to the back of your mind
Reset shot clock, please.
and move on. We'll see Liam Dunster's going to be using the cut break where he hits the second ball down. One of the very few players, Jim, that I've seen change mid-match depending on how the table's breaking. So I don't know if we're going to see it today, but I've commentated on many a game. Seen many a game that Liam's played where he's been breaking second ball down, and if it's not working for him, he will change to the front ball smash, if you like.
A big chance here for Conor. Try and get acclimatized.
Yeah, and that first shot there is a lot better than it's looked. Could make this frame a lot easier for Conor. Just landed on this quite a delicate positional shot, landed on the yellow into the right middle pocket. It's only really going to be the transition up to the left-hand side of the table where the 2 yellows are together that can really pose Conor any sort of problem here. So like many a frame, we may well see that it's just 1 key
10
positional
seconds.
shot, which is going to be the difference between him winning or losing this frame. And it's coming up.
"29 years of age. They call him Mr. Nice Guy." Well, there's a time to be Mr. Nice Guy and a time not to be.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be nice now. He's just under hit that one by a good 6 inches to even a foot. Would have liked to have been a lot closer to the red. Which has made that missable, but what a stroke of luck that is, Jim. He would have known there was a chance that yellow was going to go into the left middle pocket, but that wasn't the plan. The plan was to make that yellow into the top right corner.
Extension, please.
He'll be feeling quite nervous and anxious inside now. He had a chance first frame, didn't take it. The first frame's always the hardest one to win. Well, that and the last frame, I suppose.
Especially when you're playing a man that has yet to taste defeat.
Well, he's on it, Jim. Quite literally. I don't think that's much good. I don't think this cuts, does it? And even if it
No,
does...
Liam didn't edge a little closer to his chair, Dan, but
10 seconds.
I'm betting that he will. Oh, it does cut.
Well, yeah.
What a shot.
I was saying, yeah, even if it does cut, we have to rely on a little bit of luck there. You see that cue ball still spinning. So now he's got a shot on the black. This for 1-all. No, it's not there.
Well, there's an awful lot of work for Liam Dunster to do here. And you have to feel at some point he's going to be looking to snooker Conor. Try and buy that free visit.
Extension, please.
He's got 2 reds on the left-hand side that need to be developed.
Yeah, and you see the reds that are in the top right-hand side of the table. There's an argument for leaving the cue ball centre of the table, taking the one closest to the top right corner pocket and going into those 2 reds. But the way they're kind of glued together would make it highly likely that only one of them is going to come out and the other one's going to stick on that cushion still. So for that reason, I think we are going to see Liam play the snooker. I think he's quite fortunate as well because he can play the plant here and take one of the reds. Exactly.
Total snooker.
where he's put it, which now goes past the black into the top left corner pocket. He could well use that if he needs to break out his bad ball that the cue ball's right next to now. But if he can get 2 shots or a foul,
10 seconds.
Conor Treacy, this is going to be 2-0.
Foul.
It's a good effort.
1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
Good enough.
Yeah, he had to spin that around the back of that red bottom right. Never really got into the cue ball as he would have liked, but as you said, a pretty good attempt. Though I don't think it's going to avail him anything.
No, Liam's just used his free visit there, so you get 1 free shot and 1 visit after that. And the only problem on the table is now just plunked that straight over that left middle pocket. So, barring something extraordinary, we're going to see Liam Dunster take a 2-0 lead here.
As are all the top players, very measured, calculating.
Yeah, Liam's somebody that no matter how easy his last, you see a lot of players really quicken up when you've got 3 or 4 very easy balls like this left, and Liam doesn't really. He's very one-paced. I mean, this is Liam playing very quickly right now, but what you get with that and the kind of pre-shot routine, you know, he steps into every shot, sets himself, as you see. What you get with that is you don't get any silly mistakes. I mean, he misses, you know, not often. I think he missed about 5 times last year, Jim, but you don't get any silly mistakes from Liam. You don't really get any lapses of concentration. I'm not sure I've ever seen it. He'll miss now and again like everyone, but it's just so consistent. And that pre-shot routine, I think, just plays a huge part of it. He knows
Also can be very intimidating, Dan. And I mean, he's very mechanical how he goes about his business, workmanlike, and that in itself can pay dividends psychologically. But it's a 2-0 advantage. Liam, even though he doesn't show it, it's got to be feeling pretty comfortable in his chair. Still a lot of work to do, but the Duster is mopping up.
Yeah, he's one of those, Liam. You look at him in his chair, you wouldn't know if he was 3-0 up or at a funeral. He's very kind of stern-faced.
Frame 3.
Gives nothing away.
Conor Treacy to break. Trailing 2 frames to 0.
I think that's
Time
one
running.
of his biggest weapons is his powers of concentration. Very nearly disaster there for Conor Treacy. Cue ball almost going straight into that corner pocket, but it's just about stayed out. And actually, it's quite a nice table for him.
Yeah, he desperately needs to get that first frame on the board, settle himself.
Well, also tonight, Jim, obviously it's slightly different from stage 1, where the only way to guarantee yourself a place was to win your group. With this, you just need to finish top 2.
10 seconds.
So even if you are going to lose, losing 4-2 compared to 4-0 might well be the difference after your 3 matches of you getting through or not. 2 wins will probably get you through. We could have frame difference come into play, all sorts. So even if you do go 2-3-0 down,
10 seconds.
you need to keep going. Ideally wants to use that red on the right next to that left middle pocket. as his last ball because he's going to give him perfect position on the black. He's just figuring out how he's going to get there.
10 seconds.
Ideally, keep that cue ball near the middle of the table for his next 2 visits.
Yeah, he
That
would have
should
loved
see
to
him in good stead.
yeah, he would have loved to have had a little bit more angle on the red that he's just played, so he could stun down into the bottom half of the table to play this red over the bottom left corner pocket. Because these are harder than they look to control when the ball's right over that corner pocket. He's done it pretty well, Jim. Just needs to avoid going behind the yellow. Should natural angle, maybe just run into it. If he drops it in dead weight, should leave himself perfect on this black.
Chance here for Conor Treacy to do what 3 players before him haven't done.
Frame.
Beat Liam Dunster a frame. And there you go. The unscathed record, no longer. 2-1, Liam still in front of Conor. But a good visit, that one from Conor Treacy, and I'll wager he's feeling a little better in his chair.
And you see there the fine margins. He's broke off and rattled in the jaws for nearly going straight in off and leaving those for Liam. But the white stayed out, left himself with quite an easy finish. He's taken them out. Just a fraction away from what would have almost certainly been 3-0. Fine margins at the top. You see Liam, see if he persists with this second ball down break.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Dan. I've got a feel he's going to
10-4.
change the break.
Liam Dunster to break, leading 2
He
frames
tends
to 1.
to, he
Time
tends
running.
to, if he's going to change it, he'll give it 2 or
Reset
3.
shot
Or
clock, please.
I don't think he'd change it after 1. But I think if we see him go dry a couple more times, we might well see him change up, even if it is in the next match. Each player gets 10 minutes on the practice table before we go live on air. You wonder how much of that time Liam used to practice his break and see if he could find that sweet spot. But he's hit those pretty good. And the yellows look very nice.
Extension, please.
Yeah, he wants a little extra time just to think this through before making the decision.
Yeah, and he didn't need to take his extension there because he knows he's going to go yellows. He knows the first yellow he's going to take is going to be the one, is going to be into this right middle pocket. But he just took that extra bit of time just to almost compose himself, and he just wants to figure out and be clear in his mind exactly what order he wants to take these balls in. If there is going to be that one crucial shot to the frame where he has to pinpoint with his cue ball, which shot's that going to be? And I think in Liam's case, it was probably that shot just there because he was going dangerously close to the bottom right corner pocket. But he is absolutely perfect on the yellow at the bottom of the table now. And that's going to be, really, his hard work done for this frame.
10 seconds.
You may have noticed before from watching Liam play, his cue ball is, to say on a string would almost be an understatement. His cue ball control is as good as I think anybody
10
I've ever
seconds.
seen. You rarely see him having to dig himself out of trouble, and he makes a very difficult game look very simple at times because he just never seems to be out of position.
Yeah, very tidy He's the youngest player in this group with 27 years of age.
10 seconds.
And he is the favorite to progress out of it.
Oh, wow. There's a collector's item. And I think that's come, Jim, from he just talk about commentator's curse. He just ran slightly too far with the cue ball in his previous shot, and he wanted to play the left of those two yellows into that left corner pocket.
10
He
seconds.
ran too far,
Extension,
which
please.
would mean he would be losing the cue ball by playing that, so he's elected to play a plant. It was quite an easy plant, but he's missed it. It's deliberately played from Conor. It's a clever shot. Very much in control now in this frame. So he is human, Liam. He does make errors.
10 seconds.
He's developed the yellows now. So
Yeah,
a
this
little
is
bit
very
more
good.
heat. Sorry, Dan, I was going to say a little bit more heat on Conor. A miss would be more punishable now.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was going to say exactly the same thing. If he does miss now, Liam's got, well, two very obvious choices, options on the left-hand side where he can use those to get into his bad ball. You're allowed the skill shot in this game, combination shot, depends what you want to call it. But as long as you pot your ball and play your ball first, so in Liam's case, yellows, he can
10 seconds.
also pot the red that's over the bottom, the top right-hand corner pocket as well. Call it a skill shot.
I'm trying to force a tactical exchange
Yeah, and
with
Liam's
the number
probably
one
the last
ranked
person.
player.
Liam's probably the last person you want to do that with as well. He's had a bit of a reputation for he would, they call it the tap break back in the day,
10 seconds.
especially in his youth and junior days. Master tactician, Liam Dunster. You're about to see why there. It's a very, very good safety shot from Liam. But yeah, a master tactician, Jim, and he would often, when he felt necessary, tap the pack. And a legal break in black ball rules is 2 balls past the
10
middle
seconds.
pocket. So he developed a break where he could barely open the pack and make it a game of chess from the start. Now, since then, and safe to say that Liam's one of the reasons why this was changed, because those tactical frames can really hold tournaments up. The IPA now has a rule where there's a 3-point rule. So 3 balls need to either be potted or go past that middle pocket. And
Well, now one of Conor's reds is in an area controlled by Liam's yellows.
yeah, they'd be half tempted. I mean, there's if
10
you
seconds.
were in the club practicing, you'd double this red on the left hand side into that top cushion and plant the yellow and the red and go game. So it's one thing doing it in your club, and it's another thing doing it on live TV against the #1 player in the world.
He kind of had a look at it, didn't he, Dan? But not for very long. That
No,
might have
and
been
he's
the
just-
shot to play.
Yeah, it's one of them. Maybe weighing up as to, well, I can do that. Is that the right thing to do? And he still might be feeling that now, because Liam has now just laid the gauntlet down and said, okay, well, clear them up then. You know, I'm 2-1 up. I'm in the driving seat. I'm going to get my one bad ball out. You've now got a bad ball. I haven't. What are you going to do about it?
10 seconds.
Well, pretty useful shot.
Yeah, I mean, would have loved to have had a slightly different angle on this because he's going to be leaving this next one at distance, but played it pretty well and he's given himself a chance.
Needs this one to go in.
Yeah, this is huge. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, I think, Connor, you're going to be spending a little extra time in that chair. You really can't see Liam failing here. Said
No, the only,
already two bites at the cherry in this frame.
yeah, and the only small saving grace is he's knocked the yellow a little bit safer, bottom of the table, but he's nicely enough on this. Would have loved to have been a little bit closer to it. Not a gimme. If this goes in, it's 3-1.
Ten seconds.
Yeah, wiped its feet, but still departed the playing surface. Thankfully, for all Liam Dunster fans.
Yeah, any harder, and I don't think that would have dropped.
Frame.
Well, the emergency averted. The Duster secures frame number 4 and 3-1 lead. Connor's had his chances, and he'll be the first to tell you, but they're chances that against the number 1 ranked player in the world, you've got to take. And there's your next match upcoming. Connor will stay on the table, and he's going to be facing off against a very informed Cory Rees. Still to come, but he's got a little work to get to that, and he's going to have to try and get himself right in this match.
Yeah,
In
it's one
fairness,
thing.
Dan, it was a difficult long ball that he looked at, wasn't it? It really was, and it was all or nothing.
Yeah, it was,
five.
but it's one thing being
Conor
3-1
Treacy to
down
break.
and, you
Clear
know,
in
having
3
only had
frames to
one
1.
chance, but Connor's had a couple
Time
of
running.
chances now. And, you know, Liam has hardly been, he's played well, but he's not been at his brilliant best so far, and worryingly for the rest, and especially for Conor, still finds himself 3-1 up. A little bit of negative body language as well from Conor now, kind of almost sarcastically nodding because he
Extension, please.
hasn't got a really easy finish, as always seems to be the way after you miss a chance in the previous frame.
I say it so often that you really have to keep those negative thoughts out of your mind. This is always a glass half full game.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself, Jim. There's so many variables and so much, you know, roll of the ball and luck involved, and you know the amount of times you'll feel like you haven't really done an awful lot wrong. You've lost a match 7-2. You just haven't had first chance often enough because the breaks let you down, or you feel like you've been unlucky. You've just got to accept it and move on. You can't dwell on mistakes. You can't dwell on bad run of the ball. Just got to get on with it.
You know, Dan, when you're doing the commentary, you find things out there that you kind of file into the back of your brain and say, yeah, I've got to remember when I'm playing. Try and learn from some of the things you see out there. Because you never
Yeah,
really
you're right.
stop learning, do you?
No, not at all. No, definitely not. You know, it can. It's one of the hardest things to do is to watch yourself back playing when you've played badly, and learn from that as well. It's one thing watching yourself back. You don't mind when you've won a match or you've played well, but you probably learn more from watching yourself in defeat, if I'm honest. Defeat might well be what's coming up for Conor Treacy, because I think he's out of position now. I don't know if he can get through to the potting angle on this red, or if he can even see it at all. There's a shake of the head, so he's not looking good. He's having to swerve this.
10 seconds.
Well, he gave it a game effort again, but keeping that cue ball under wraps is key.
Yeah, and no one knows that like this man. Absolute master of it, as I've said before. Although, first up, I mean,
10 seconds.
these are hardly all sat over the
Extension,
pocket.
please.
You know, these still need to be taken out. There's a couple of balls. Nothing needs to be dislodged. But close cue ball control is the order of the day on this finish. Pick these off one by one. Get yourself a win on the board. They're almost more satisfying sometimes, Jim, when you have a scrappy match and still manage to get the win, get the points on the board. You know, it shows a bit more character, a bit more. You can often kick on from there and really relax after that. Liam's human like everybody else.
No, that's a fair point, Dan. Anybody can win looking good. You know, winning ugly. Survival.
Yeah, it doesn't say how you won on the score sheet. Win is a win.
Yeah, pretty straight on this yellow. So just be trying to draw it right back out towards the middle of the table.
Yeah, he's got options now. He can go bottom right if he wants first. He can go top left. Bring the cue ball back over in between where the two yellows are on the right hand side of the table.
10 seconds.
He's electing for the slightly more difficult pot.
Ten seconds.
Nice angle here too. Be able to get on the proper side of the black.
Yeah, and you know, nothing was really difficult in this clearance, but part of that is because he had the cue ball under complete control the entire way through. and a simple black for a 4-1 victory for Liam Dunster.
Yeah, and it
Frame
was a
and the
victory
match.
that he needed.
Dunster wins
He
4
saw
frames to
Cory
1.
Rees win his first match 4-1, so he had to try and step up, and step up he did. The top seed in the event, a 4-1 victor over Conor Treacy, and he has done nothing to dispel his favoritism. And I'd wager our studio boys agree.
Yeah, he's definitely the favourite, isn't he, Jim? Liam there, easy win there, 4-1 as well, and he wasn't in any trouble at all, was he, Mark? There, he just took his time, nice and steady. The Liam Dunster that we see on the first night here in the Champions Cup.
Yeah, but it's not the eloquent sort of Liam Dunster that we've normally seen. You know, he don't miss balls. He's missed 2 or 3 already in that last match, and he's going to have to step it up. Still 1-4-1, yeah, and he's level now with Cory Rees at the top of this table. But Conor and Dean Shields, they're both playing both of these players next. So if they lose, they're going to be out of this tournament. So it's really important. Can Conor and Dean, you know, there's going to be some upset sooner or later. Can they produce an upset to level this group up even more?
Yeah, he had a couple of chances, didn't he, Conor, really? But as you said, he made like 2, would you call them mistakes or slight mistakes?
Unforced errors, yeah.
Unforced errors for Liam there, but he's definitely going to be the favourite this evening. I know he was odds on to win the group this evening, wasn't he? And that last match this evening, you can still have a bit of even money. 11 or 10, it's going to be late. It's the last match on this evening, but I think Liam Dunster against Cory Rees. I know they're both unbeaten, but I know for my money, I want to be on Liam about the even money, 10 to 11, 11 to 10, all different prices for our betting partners. Naturally, you've got to shop for the value there. But I still think that's my bet. It's going to be my belly buster of the day. The last match, I honestly think Liam can beat Cory in that match. But it's my opinion. Everyone's got their opinion, haven't they, Mark?
Yeah, they certainly have. But remember, there's the top 2 that goes through this group. Cory and Liam, they're in control of it. But can Dean Shields or Conor just get back into it? One win in any of these 2 matches for either Conor or Dean, and they're back in this group and back in with a chance of getting in Tuesday's final.
Well, look at our next match coming up here. We've got Conor Treacy v Cory Rees here, and looking at this here, you know, Cory Rees is 8 to 11, 4 to 6 in places. Conor Treacy 3 to 1. The draw is going to be about a 9 or 5 to 2 chance. But after what we see in match 1 here, Cory Rees 4-1. I can't take him on. I think he's going to win. I just think I know we said earlier on it could be some shocks tonight, but I think Cory Rees here, I think he's a good thing here. I think he can win this as well.
Yeah, certainly. And then even after that match, we're going to have the Liam Dunster against Dean Shields. But Conor, he has to win this match next one. He's got to win against Cory.
It's going to be good, isn't it? I'll tell you what we do. If you want to play, as I said, look for the value on the internet, look for the prices. We'll be back in about 3 minutes with the next match, and I think Cory's going to win. He's going to be odds on, but I'm going to be with the favourite. See you in 3 minutes.
Champions Cup Stage 2, Group A match. Race to 6 frames.
Well, I hope you've got yourself
best of 6 frames.
a cup of tea
Cory Rees to break.
and settle back into
Time
your
running.
comfy chair. Conor Treacy is staying out there up against Cory Rees, and this is a match that our pundit Mark Pickworth has already made crystal clear. Conor Treacy has to win this to have any chance.
Yeah, he does. If he loses this, he's almost certainly out of the tournament. Stage 2, you need to finish top 2 in your group. A lot simpler than the first stage of this, where you must win your group, but there were 2 lucky losers, so to speak. 2 best second place finishers sneaked through, Conor Treacy being one of those. See a monster break from Cory Rees
10
first up,
seconds.
but it's not the
Extension, please.
easiest of layouts for him. Reds all yellows, you can see that in his expression in his face.
Few different looks around the table for Cory. He has to be very happy the way that he started today out. Very similar to
10 seconds.
The way he started this event out.
Yeah, he played very well against Dean Shields in the first match. Dean Shields made 1 or 2 uncharacteristic errors mid-match, but Cory was very clinical, played very well. Now, Cory's actually played the plant there, I think.
Yeah, his body language says so.
He may not have done, actually. I might correct myself there. I think he wanted to glue that cue ball to the red, and he hasn't quite done it. Because if you see,
10 seconds.
he wouldn't really have left himself on much else had it gone in. He's dangled the carrot for Conor Treacy.
Yeah, very difficult finish this one for Conor.
Yeah, but we're just seeing a little bit of that body language again, aren't we, that we saw towards the end of the Liam Dunster game, kind of almost, you know, negative body language, feeling a little bit sorry for himself. You know, he's just lost the cue ball there again. But part of that is, you can almost put it down to, if that's going to be your body language
10
anyway,
seconds.
you're helping yourself make mistakes, if you know what I mean. You're not doing yourself any favours. There's some players
I
out
think
there
he wanted to hit that
Oh,
yellow a
did-
little harder. Sorry, Dan, and get down and hopefully just nudge the yellows in front of the reds. A little short of speed.
Yeah, we call it making a
10
mess. You just kind
seconds.
of want to make a mess down that end of the table, tie Cory up a little bit, make him do something special, contain him, really. Yeah, you see a lot of players that no matter how, you know, they could be 5-0 down in the match, and they've just got that kind of get up and go about them, that bit of, you know, they're optimists. They know, no, I will turn this match around. They might end up losing 7-0. It don't matter. Body language, you know, they never sort of
10 seconds.
slouch as they're walking around the table. They're always upbeat. They're always optimistic. And it's much easier said than done, especially for Conor, who's just come off the back of a defeat in that first match.
It's a great shot that Cory's just played there. And now
Brilliant,
every
yeah.
chance. He's on the awkward red. The other one in the middle of the table. So every chance now for Cory to seize the initiative in this match. Secure the opening frame.
10 seconds.
Yeah, it really was I'd call it a pool player's shot, that last red. He's played it with rakes and rakes of drag and bottom left-hand side to swing that cue ball over to the right-hand side of the table. Absolutely nailed it. It's one in the frame.
He's looking
Frame.
solid, Cory Rees. Came in here as one of the event favorites, given his performance in the first stage, and right now, he's doing business out there. And the man taking those body blows is Conor Treacy. That was a good finish. Made to look much easier than it was.
Yeah, just that killer shot that he played there when he had 3 balls left. Needed to absolutely nail it. And from distance, it's a lot harder than he made it look. So Cory Rees couldn't have wished for a better start. 4-1 winner in his first match against Dean Shields. 1-0 up now against Conor Treacy.
Frame 2.
They call him Jibs
Conor Treacy to break.
because he, or the
Taking
Rafa
1
Nadal
frame to
of
0.
pool.
Time running.
He's constantly patting at his face, pulling his t-shirt, scratching his nose,
Foul.
almost fidgeting.
1 free shot, 1 visit.
Well, Jibbs is going to be able to come to the table and
Time running.
fidget a bit more.
Yeah, we've seen Conor go dangerously close to that same corner pocket in his previous match against Liam. He just hasn't got away with it this time. You can't keep chucking it towards that corner pocket. It's going to go in now and again. You ideally want to keep control of that
Extension,
cue ball. You want to go straight, either parking it in the middle of the table, or you want it to come straight back up in a straight line. You don't want it to be drifting off towards those corner pockets because, I mean, cue ball in hand, first shot at this level, you're going to lose almost every frame if you're going off the break.
Well, Cory's had a good survey of the land.
10 seconds.
I have to speed up a little now.
He's just got that yellow out of the way now. Reds are going to be his ball. It's all going to be out about how he goes up from the bottom half of the table up to the top, but pretty good to me. Yellow top left-hand corner of the table looks like he's causing a problem, but it might well see that it makes the middle of those three reds an even easier pop because he's got a big pocket.
10 seconds.
Now get rid of all the reds at the bottom half as we look. He knows he's got that red over the top right corner, so he doesn't have to do anything special with the cue ball here.
Yeah, they like to do that when they can, play it in almost sections. You know, if you got 3 or 4 balls in one half of the table and the rest in the other half, you, where possible, like to take them out in sections. But it's kind of gone wrong a little bit there for Cory.
Yes, he certainly has. He overdrew that cue ball by some margin. I'm not sure what red he was playing on, but either way,
10 seconds.
he made things a little bit more awkward than it needed to be.
Yeah, and he's then missed that red, and it looks like he's got control here still, but it's not an easy table at all for Cory, for Conor Treacy. But you know, on another day, he nails that positional shot when he's only got 3 reds left, and it's frame over.
10
Can't
seconds.
afford in such a short format to let your opponent off.
The yellow's frozen.
Delicate one there
Total
from
snooker.
Conor, but well played.
Ten seconds.
Not the easiest escape either.
Foul.
Well,
1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
you see how he's just whipped the cue away there, as a lot of players do when they play a bad shot, but almost as if he's got a bit of a dead bounce off that back cushion. But looking at the replay, he was just lined up wrong.
Extension, please.
Conor being the outsider in this group. You know, he's a player that the others have to try and bully in terms of securing frames.
Yeah, it's a tough one as a player when you've got someone in the group that you know is a very good player, but you're expected to be in such a short format. you know, with this the shot clock only a best of 6 frames. It's a different kind of pressure being a favourite in such a short race, or quite a heavy favourite. Let's say Liam was in the last
10
match against
seconds.
Conor, because we all know as players that he's a very, very good player, Conor, and not to be taken lightly.
There's that negative body language you talk about, Dan, shaking his head.
Yeah, I don't feel like I saw an awful lot of that in stage 1. I really don't.
10 seconds.
I mean, in
Cory
fairness, sorry, Dan, in fairness, he's really got control of this frame. Or it certainly
he
appears
has.
that way.
It does. He's left Cory the opportunity to just rest into this red. It doesn't go into this left corner, but as you can see there, just by kind of nudging into it, he's really switching the pressure back over to Conor now. And all from that previous shot where he's played the yellow up table, but it bounced off the cushion and left a gap there, or a window for Conor. But as clearly evaded me, the yellow went past the red into the top right corner pocket. So it's game on.
Yeah, we'll see if Conor can just hold himself together now. And, you know, he spends a lot of time practicing.
10
So this
seconds.
is where you've just got to try and go through it. See, I think a more confident
Total
player
snooker.
would have taken the yellows out there, but he is fighting himself a little.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, took the words out of my mouth. I think a more confident player, if he was 3-0 up, we may have seen him attack there. And the yellow that you just played, yes, he'd have had to have got on the right-hand side of the table for it to go
10
into
seconds.
the bottom right corner pocket. But I think we'd have seen him back himself to get that. Now, percentages-wise, you can argue that he did the right thing. And if you look at the outcome, he's got himself an even easier chance. But you're right, Jim. I think it's a little bit of a almost statement of how confident he is. And that's under hit as well. Yeah, and it's just all
as
gone
is
wrong.
the case. Yeah, when you start fighting it, you start digging yourself that hole, eventually the dirt starts coming in on top.
Yeah, exactly. And he just slightly under hit the previous positional shot when he had 3 yellows left.
10 seconds.
Anything but short. He could have overhit it by, even a foot, 10, 12 inches, and he still would have been able to just drop that yellow into the left middle, to the right middle, sorry. And even just left himself distance on his final yellow. But if you underhit it, you got to risk playing that cannon. And he was over on the side cushion as well, so he couldn't really get his hand on the table either. And unfortunately for Conor,
10 seconds.
has messed it up, and he's left Cory up. Well, a bit of a surprising one there. I thought Cory may well play the cut into the corner pocket, knowing that if he plays it pocket weight, he'll likely still have control if he did miss it. He's elected to play the safety.
I fully expected him to try and knock that in down the rail.
Yeah, I think so. And I played on this table on Wednesday as well, and it's a brand new cloth. you know, they play fairly generous, as all tables do when it's a brand new cloth. So I don't know. I'd have fancied clipping that in, I think. Maybe we'll see the skill shot that I just mentioned earlier on for Cory. Play this top and right hand side.
10 seconds.
Arc that cue ball up to the. Nice. Played it with bottom left. And that's unlucky.
Well, not a lot of choice now. He's got to just try and lay that cue ball behind the red.
Yeah, there's no double on here.
Total snooker.
The problem is for Cory, I mean, it's such an easy hit here. You know, I think the best he can hope for is that there's an outside chance. The white will top, you know, and follow the yellow in. But it's oh, nearly. But yeah, his best chance is going to be that Conor's going to leave himself a difficult black at distance. The only saving grace is where the red is if he does miss. And he's nowhere near.
Cory be looking for the thin cut here. Just get that near that corner pocket, bring the cue ball back down the middle of the table. He's not going to be leaving Conor an easy black.
No, he just wants to leave him, you know, leave him a double at best, really, which is what he's done. But he wanted to, you can see he's not happy with that at all. He wanted to hit that a lot thinner and get the cue ball right down this end of the table. He hasn't. Oh, no, he's actually left Conor quite an easy snooker. Delicate one, but played it well.
Time out. Total snooker. Time running.
So it's advantage Conor. Big frame as well. The difference between 1 each and 2-0 in such a short format is huge.
10 seconds.
Oh, I thought it was going to drop for a second, Jim.
Well, one thing about it, where he's put it, Conor has to try and slice this in. And he's missed it.
And like you said,
Just
Jim,
not,
you know,
not the Conor Treacy we'd really like to have seen. He's fighting himself and just way too many negative thoughts swirling in that head.
yeah, and I think that's the third time now where he's missed a pot and he's missed it thick. So I don't know if it's an alignment
Frame.
thing, but yeah, he's a bit out of sorts at the moment, Conor. Nothing
Well,
like
Cory
he was.
Rees is benefiting. And 2-0 the score. Conor with it all to do.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're
Dan.
sort of last chance saloon for Conor. He's 2-0 down. I don't think a draw and a win's really likely to get him through in second place. So he's probably got to win the remaining 4 frames and the last match to have any chance of qualifying.
And how difficult is when you're in that lonely chair out there and everything is going sideways on you. The last place you want to be is out in the center stage performing.
Frame 3.
Yeah,
Cory Rees to break.
last thing you want to be
Leading
is
2
on
frames to
TV,
0. Time running.
unfortunately. But it happens to the best of them. And it's not all done yet. Stay positive, you never know. Dry break from Cory, you can clear. You've got to have in your mind, then you can break and clear 2 each, then you've got the momentum. But there's no dry break from Cory. And I think these yellows look very nice. I think we may see the yellow closest to the black
Extension,
into the
please.
left middle as his last ball. Could even see a plant first up, red onto yellow, top right corner pocket. What looks quite tricky may well be a little bit easier than it looks at first glance.
Well, that's what he's looking at, Dan. Red onto the yellow.
Yeah, because looking at the table, that yellow would be his problem ball. But with these rules, you know, first shot to get your colour set, all you need to do is pot a ball.
10 seconds.
Doesn't matter which one you hit first, as long as it's not the black. So cue ball needs to get over. It's pretty perfect here, and we spoke about sections earlier, Jim. And this is a good example of it. You're going to see him take the yellow at the top, the 3 in the centre of the table by the looks of it, and then bottom of the table, left middle was his last ball.
10 seconds.
As well as we've seen Cory play in this event, he hasn't been at his best in this
10
match.
seconds.
The balls
No,
have kind
and-
of dictated how the frames have unfolded, and there hasn't really been any flow, has there?
No, not really. And we saw something very similar in the first match. Cory played well, but it was unlike the brilliance that you saw from Cory in stage 1. It was Cory kind of picking up the pieces from mistakes from his opponent in the first match, and this match is taken a similar path, really. Nicely cued. We see he just sort of ran a little bit out of position there when he had 4 yellows left. It was almost too straight on that previous yellow into the left middle. So he's changed his route from what he probably would have done had he been in perfect position.
10 seconds.
Anything but straight is good. Probably would have wanted it to be a little bit closer than this. Somewhere between where the cue ball is now and where the yellow is. If you were to be halfway between those two, that's where he'd have placed it with his hand. So it's missable. He's 2-0 up, playing well, and he's nailed it.
And he's assured himself of nothing worse than a draw. 3-0. Cory Rees dictating the pace. Third match here on day 7. And the Welshman making a very strong statement to continue on.
You're making light work of this and isn't really having to do anything special.
Well, it was a nice clearance in that frame. Started it out with the plant, red onto yellow, took it home.
Frame 4. Conor
Yeah,
Treacy
now
to break. Drilling 3 frames to 0.
Trying to think a step ahead
Time
here.
running.
So Cory's won his first match 4-1. Now, if he does go on to win this match, Conor's going to be 2 losses from 2 matches. If he goes on to lose his third match against Dean Shields, there could be a situation where all 3 players, where Liam, Dean and Cory all finish on 2 wins and 1 loss. Now, then it's going to come down to frame difference. So first and foremost, it'll be frame difference. So it really is quite important for
Extension,
Cory
please.
here to polish this match off Now he's got the opportunity to get himself a 4-0 win, because if it does come down to that, winning 4-0 and 4-1 is going to put you in a really, really strong position to finish top 2 in the group.
And given that mindset, you know, we harken back to Cory's win over Dean 4-1 in the opening match. That one comes into play.
Yeah, very much so, because one of the things that it will go on, if they are
10 seconds.
tied on frames, it then goes to frames 1. Head-to-heads can come into it, so, you know, crucial that, I mean, you know, you're just going to be concentrating on winning now, but it could be far more important than he realises later down the line if this ends up being a 4-2 win instead of a 4-0 win. Just run out of position again a little bit. He wanted to be a lot closer to this. We're going to see him play this with bottom right-hand side, but he doesn't want to flick the red on the way back up the table. These are delicate ones into what's going to be the right middle pocket. We've actually seen him come all the way up the table, so. Let's get down quickly to play this. He obviously knows where he wants this. Needs to miss that middle pocket. He's played it well. Bit edgy, those ones, because you know you need to get dangerously close to that right middle pocket. In your mind, it's quite a difficult shot to commit to, but played it well.
Once again, just a little short of what would have been ideal position. And the cue ball's tracking up table. Does he want to take it into the black here? Maybe no choice.
Yeah, make the cannon and hope for the best, but he's taken his eye off the pot, Jim, and what an opportunity for Cory Rees to go 4-0.
Yeah, you have to feel for Conor. You just know he's capable of so much better.
Well, we saw it last week. We saw just how good he can be last week. He was brilliant. Bad day at the office so far for Conor Treacy.
We've all been there. But like you said, gilt-edged opportunity now for Cory Rees to run out a 4-0 winner.
He's got an opportunity. Players don't like to do this, but if this looks a fairly natural angle to play the red into the top right corner pocket with a little bit of running left-hand side and just promote that red towards the left corner pocket.
10 seconds.
You don't want to nudge into balls if you don't have to, but sometimes you can't resist if you are perfect on it. I think he tried to play that as well. Yeah, he doesn't look happy with it. They called him Jibs. Fidgeter at the table. Shuffles around.
10 seconds.
The only thing that matters is he delivers that cue, and he is silky smooth. Really good cue action, Cory Rees. Very good snooker player.
Yeah, you can tell the way he delivers that cue
10 seconds.
through the white. Very sound. Even the way that he gets over it.
Yeah, silky smooth, but he's just left that one a little bit short of ideal. Probably would have wanted to be 3 or 4 inches closer to that top cushion, so it's a bit more of a cutback than he wanted. Definitely missable.
10 seconds.
Oh, what a shot.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That is brilliant from Cory Rees. That's one in the match. That's one in the match. And you see how thin it was because he had to play it at such a pace to get it down table and back up again. So it was a lot thinner than you wanted to leave it. Under pressure, but he's delivered.
He wasn't as dominant as he
Cory
was
Rees
in
wins
his
4
first
frames
match, but it's a 4-0 win for Cory Rees, and he really is in the front-running seat now. Terrific performance, and everybody's got to be impressed.
4-0, Cory Rees smart. Does that mean Cory's through?
Yes. Yeah, it does. I mean, a +7 average. I mean, it's going to take something special. I don't think it's even possible. I mean, Dean Shields is the only one that can probably take a spot away from him. But he's already lost one match 4-1, and it's all going to be very important about how this next match pans out, because Dean Shields, he needs to be beating Liam Dunster.
Yeah, so Cory Rees looks like he'll be in the hotel tomorrow night, and he'll be back on Tuesday for the final.
Yeah, he's in good stead now, definitely. Conor Treacy, unfortunately, that's the end of his 2022 Champions Cup
Conor's
now.
going back to Coventry.
Yeah, he'll be in Event 3. He'll have an option to enter Event 3, so he's still got a chance to get to the grand final on March the 20th. But this next match, this is a must-win for Dean Shields. It has to win. I mean, they've got some previous there, and look at that already. Liam Dunster is 3-0 up on previous matches. 8-5, 8-2, 8-2.
Liam Dunster, bookies are going about 4-6. Liam Dunster, 3-1. Dean Shields, 5-2 to draw. Liam Dunster, 4-6. He's a good favourite, isn't he, Mark?
He is, and especially the way that Dean played in that first match against Cory. He lost 4-1, and he had chances in that match, but he doesn't seem to be at the races. But for one thing for sure, he's got to be at the races against the Duster, and he's got to come out fighting.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match. And don't forget, if you want all the odds, look on our betting partners, plenty of them. You can get the best odds with, shop around, and we'll see you in about 3 minutes. For Liam Dunster, it's 4-6. Will we have another favourite win this evening? I think we will.
Champions Cup Stage 2, Group A match. Best of 6 frames. First frame, Liam Dunster to break. Time running.
It's our 4th match of the evening, and it is a key one. Huge for Dean Shields. He needs a win here over the Duster.
It does indeed. And I think even just the loss of one frame is going to put him out of this tournament for good. I think Cory Rees can well and truly put his feet up for now. He's +7 after 2 matches, having won 4-1 and 4-0. Now, even if Dean Shields wins 4-0 against Liam Dunster, I don't think the frame difference can be worked in such a way that they can possibly lose. So I think Cory Rees is through. He's never going to have enjoyed a travel lodge as much. He's there for 2 nights now, because we've got the second stage and the second group of 4 tomorrow. Top 2 from each group go through to the final stage of Event 1, which will be on Tuesday.
One thing about it, Dean, if you didn't know the sort of game you were in for, you know it now. It's like skating uphill when you play Liam Dunster.
10 seconds.
He just makes life
Essential
so
pace.
difficult.
Yeah, and he really seems to have that part of his game to put perfect. That balance between defence and attack. He seems to make the right decision more than most, probably more than anyone, Liam. So easy with these rules, and when you've got the ability that Liam's got to just attack and try and take out every finish. But now and again, you just got to rein it in a little bit. You know, cover that pocket. Let Dean go for it. Let Dean push the boat out. May not work every time, but it's a percentages play. If he does it 100 times.
10 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Dean might pull a finish out of somewhere 10 times out of 100, but most of the time he's not.
Time foul. 1 free shot, 1 visit.
Well, how about that? He
Time
let
running.
the clock expire. It's a time foul for Dean Shields.
Well. Might be
Yeah,
the
the
first
look
one
on
we've
his
seen
face
him.
says it all.
Yeah, devastated. He's sort of laughing, almost in sarcasm to himself. He's disgusted with
Extension,
himself for letting that happen. And 1 free shot and 1 visit for Liam Dunster. Although the Yellows aren't, you know, they're not in really easy positions. So it's going to take a bit of figuring out. We've already seen Liam take his extension, so he's going to have a minute to play this shot instead of 30 seconds.
Time running.
Does nothing in a hurry, does he, Liam? Just so measured.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this before on commentary, but Liam is one of the more measured players. He doesn't play quickly. He doesn't play quickly at all, you know, but you would think naturally that he would be somebody that struggled with a 30-second shot clock.
10
but
seconds.
if anything, because of his speed of thought and how quickly he can make decisions, how cool
Total
and
snooker.
calm he is under pressure, I actually think the 30-second shot clock's an advantage for him because he seems to handle it better than anybody. He's got it to a T, and he just, on the face of it, doesn't make sense because he's not a quick player, but I think he's even better with a 30-second shot clock.
10 seconds.
Yeah, very interesting, Dan.
Foul.
It's more so.
1 free shot, 1 visit.
It's more about how
Hit the yellow on the way through.
how others don't handle the 30-second shot clock. So when it's a level playing field, Liam can play kind of exactly the same game and figure stuff out so quickly because he's got such a smart pool brain. Whereas others can get a little bit flustered when they've only got 30 seconds to think through their finish. So actually, it almost separates the men from the boys even more.
Very interesting chain of events there. Dean played a foul shot. Didn't think he did. He looked at the referee because he hit the red. Ref said he hit the yellow on the way by.
Yeah, confirmed by our producer there in the replay that he definitely did as well, but only faintly. One of those, Jim, that where you hear that kind of, some people say, oh, you know, if you've hit it, you don't. You really don't. I was playing the other day, and if it's the kind of fatter part of the cue that grazes a ball on the way through, you cannot feel it, but you can see it. So I fouled the other day, but I only fouled, or I only knew that I fouled because I saw it move. I didn't actually feel it because it was the thicker part of the cue that grazed the ball on the way through.
Either way, it's going to be very punishing because Liam, nothing's stopping him from securing the opening frame here. And we already told you how important each and every frame is. Dean needed a one-sided victory over Liam.
Yeah, he did, and even then he would have been relying on other results as well. He would have needed to beat Conor himself and rely on the result for Liam in his last match as well. So he was really hanging on for dear life here, Dean Shields. See that pre-shot routine? I mean, he's got, on the face of it, a very easy yellow into this top right corner pocket, but he's still crouched down. He's still lined the shot up, stepped into it, giving it every respect. Other players just don't do that. But then other players make a lot more mistakes than Liam Dunster.
Frame.
Well, he's making no mistakes right now, securing the opening frame. And looking very strong in doing so. The event favorite as it stands. He's not the #1 player on tour for nothing.
No,
That
ultra
man.
consistent.
Dean Shields, well, he knows exactly what he has to do. He's probably got to win, have any chance, and I'm not sure that mathematically it's even there anymore, but he has to win all 4 that are upcoming.
Well, he'll need to win this match and then hope that Liam can only get a draw or worse in his last match, and then Dean needs to win his last match against Conor Treacy. So a
Frame
lot
2.
needs to happen, but he's
Dean
not out of
Shields
it
to
yet.
break.
Dean
Drill him
Shields,
1 frame
he is
to
still
0.
in there,
Time
still
running.
fighting. If he can find any of that sort of form that he found in stage 1, it can happen. It needs to start now.
Yeah,
Foul.
as you'd
One free
expect,
shot, 1 visit.
and we saw so often from Conor Treacy
Time
too,
running.
when things go wrong, things go wrong.
They go really wrong. And you can see as well, he's not only has he gone in off, and it wasn't going in off, it was going probably 6 inches away from that corner pocket, but he got
Extension,
kicked in off
please.
by another ball. And look at what he's left. I mean, if he had to take reds, he'd make this clearance, but the yellows couldn't be sat much nicer. He doesn't even need his free shot, Liam Dunster, but he's got 1 free shot, 1 visit. See, he's taken his extension. Just double and triple checking exactly what order he wants to take these balls in. His pattern.
10 seconds.
He's decided to push this. He won't want this in. Yeah, that's good. It just gives him another kind of link-up ball when he does come down to this bottom half of the table. Others may have just got on with potting the yellows and played the plant into the right middle. But Liam's had a good think about it. Used his extension wisely. Just making life as easy for himself as possible.
The easy shots are the ones that can be so damaging psychologically. So there's one thing for certain. If Liam's going to miss something, it's not going to be from lack of effort.
No, and unfortunately
10
for
seconds.
Dean, it's not going to be from lack of concentration either. Just wiped his feet a little bit, but he's okay. Both these players, Jim, played many frames for their country. The international setup. Liam more so as a youngster, and was kind of, himself and John McAllister, to say they dominated in the junior days. So we have under 16s, we have under 18s, we have under 21s. I think under 23s as well. It sort of switched from under 21s to under 23s. But to say they dominated that junior and youth setup would be a severe understatement. It felt like almost every tournament. They're kind of a generation, not a generation. I'm 34. They're in their sort of mid to late 20s, but they won everything and multiple times as well.
Right.
So,
Well, the way this man goes, I'll tell you what, he's just getting started. He's number one already, and he looks like he's growing from strength to strength. 2-0. The Dunster, clear sailing.
yeah, you say strength to strength. He really does as well, because as good as he is, the frightening thing for everybody else is he seems to be getting better. He seems to be getting more consistent season on season. I mean, he was winning things 3-4 years ago on the IPA, but it's worrying for the rest, shall we say, that at the tender age of, I think he's 27 now, he just seems to be getting better.
Frame 3. Liam Dunster at the break, leading 2 frames to 0.
Frightening to think that he's still got
Time
25
running.
years left at the top.
Well, he's definitely got the black ball world at his feet. Of that, there's no doubt.
And he's sticking with his second ball down break. But nothing down. Not for the first time tonight.
Yeah, pretty messy table. That'll suit Liam nicely. Always got his
10
thinking
seconds.
cap on.
Extension, please.
Yes, I think it's the only potential problem is the red closest to the bottom left corner pocket. Does it pass the yellow into the bottom left? I can't see from our angle here whether it does. If not, he needs to play a cannon to break that out. He's arguably got the angle to do that now. You always want to attack your bad areas as soon as you possibly can.
10 seconds.
We're actually seeing him take yellows, which is interesting. It's one of those, I suppose. 6 of one, half done on the other. Sometimes you find it and then you watch yourself back after a match and you can see that we've probably all done it, but you look at a table and if reds catch your eye first, you study the table as to how can I
10
clear if I
seconds.
go reds. And sometimes the yellows aren't as difficult as they might seem, or you kind of wonder when you watch yourself back, actually, why didn't I go yellows? It happens. I think I still would have gone reds there, to be honest.
Yeah, yellow into the center pocket. It's gone astray. Held his hand up to apologize. Got
10
safe.
seconds. Extension, please.
Yeah, I just like
And-
when he had his first shot there, Jim. He could have played the red into the Dean. I'm talking. Could have played the red into the left middle pocket and then gone straight into the yellow and the red. That's right next to the cue ball now, and I can't see how it could have not come out good. So I don't know. Maybe it'd be one of them if he watches it back. He'd agree. Maybe not. But either way,
10
Liam's
seconds.
in with another chance. Is that cue ball to slow up?
Just about like that. Containing shot.
Yeah, horrible leave. Nothing easy for Dean here.
Ten seconds.
Needs to reach. Just about got there. He was actually trying to. He wanted that to hit that a tiny bit harder to stop Liam from potting his red into the top right corner pocket. So, as well as hiding the cue ball best he could. So if he just would have played it that fraction harder, would have been perfect. But it's not bad. It's not bad.
10 seconds.
What a shot!
It's not bad either. And that's just
Was.
forged the opening.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant from Liam. Absolutely brilliant. Couple of options here. So the red left-hand side of the table is his problem. He's just checking to see whether it. I don't think it goes into that left middle.
10
If
seconds.
not, he can play it off the yellow, which is just next to that left middle pocket. Otherwise, he's going to be looking at breaking into it. I think it might just sneak by.
Ten seconds.
You know, when I watch Liam, he reminds me of the Scottish professional player that I got to know pretty well, good friend of mine. Spent some time with him, Alan McManus, because McManus was just like Liam Dunster around the table. Never took his eyes away from the surface. It was pure concentration.
10 seconds.
I like that, Jim. He does. And I've never seen it before, actually, but he does. He's kind of got that almost relaxed concentration about him. It's intense, but it's relaxed and keeps
It's
himself
controlled,
loose.
isn't it?
Controlled, yeah, exactly
10
what it is.
seconds.
And that was a shot that you alluded to, Dan, that he could play that red off the yellow into the center pocket, which he's duly done. And you just know that everything he does, the plan is there. He lays it out, and then he just puts it from paper into fact.
And it's made that, you know, that much easier by the fact that to play that cannon, the red off the yellow, he had the cue ball exactly where he needed it, exactly where he wanted it, so he could just stun the cue ball. He wasn't then worried about where the cue ball was going afterwards. It's like you say, such a controlled manner. Cue ball on a string, and he just makes the game look easy. He makes tricky finishes look easy.
Frame.
Well, there you go. Liam Dunster at his very best, his punishing best. 3-0. And the Duster, once again, doing the business. That's his office out there. That pool table is where he calls home. And don't let anybody intrude on his home. Dean Shields, already 3-0. He knows the draw. He knows he's out. Now, just wants to play for a little bit of respect.
Frame 4. Dean Shields to break.
Yeah,
Trailing
at the
3
end
frames
is
to
very
nil.
near for Dean Shields.
Time running.
What he has got to play for, and it is prize money, because there's a £200 difference between finishing third in this group and finishing fourth in this group. So he wants to get back into this match if he can. If he can get a draw, great, because it's going to be down to him against Conor Treacy as to who takes that third spot by the looks of how things are going. So still all to play for. He's looking like he's not going to get what he came here for,
10
which is to get
seconds.
through to tomorrow.
Extension, please.
Still got that prize money to play for. It's quite hard to see where Liam's going to go wrong here on reds. All I can really see is the red he's going to play after this. into that corner pocket. It's only just a little bit off the cushion. They are missable if
10
you're going to play them
seconds.
at pace, but it's a really nice layout for Liam. Really nice. And the way he's controlled the cue ball, it's just hard to see him going wrong.
Seconds.
And if he ever does go wrong, it's almost like a shock.
Yeah, shock to his fans, shock to him, shock to the viewers. It's the masterclass of controlling that cue ball. And if you're a fan of statistics, if Liam does close this match out 4-0 after his 4-1 defeat of Conor Treacy in the first match, that's going to be 21 frames played in this tournament so far. 20 that he's won.
10 seconds.
That's ridiculous at any level. You don't get that in. That's impressive in your local Monday pub league. I don't care what level you play to. Winning 20 out of 21 frames is impressive. At any level.
Yeah,
Let alone
against
on
fellow
TV.
professionals.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And 4-0
Frame
confirmed.
and match.
Liam
Liam
Dunster,
4-0.
immaculate pool. We witnessed it, and he looks so strong. And again, you can't be more impressed.
Well, 4-0 there for Liam Dunster, and I think he proved we thought he was a good thing in the studio here, 8-11, 4-6, but he won so easy, didn't he, Marcus? You know.
Yeah, he did, and both the players now, Cory Rees, Liam Dunster, they're both through to the final now on Tuesday. So Conor and Dean, they're going to go home. But the betting partners, they've got it right today.
Yeah, so we've got next match, we've got Dean Shields and Conor Treacy coming up. They make, just looking at the price here, Dean Shields an even money chance, Dean Shields, and Conor Treacy's about a 5-2 chance. But we'll be back in 3 minutes. So if you want to get a bit of value, look for them odds with our betting partners.
Champions Cup Stage 2, Group A match. Best of 6 frames. First frame, Conor Treacy to break. Time running.
So Liam Dunster and Cory Rees, they can settle back into their chairs. If they're down in the practice room, they can chill because they're both through. This match, just playing for a little bit of dinner money. Cue ball stays on the table, and that's always something you want to see if you're the breaker. Well, we'll get a look at Conor Treacy here, see if he can't show us a little bit of what we all know he's capable of.
It's a fair bit of dinner money they're playing for as well, Jim. £200. I get you more than one dinner, Jim. I don't know how expensive it is in Canada.
Depends where you go. It's plenty enough for the places I go to. Oh, feed me for a month.
Both players are going to be disappointed today, Jim. They've both been well under par, you know, and I commentated on both of these where they made it through to this stage, and they've both played really well. Conor finished second in his group. Dean won his, but both played very well, and they're going to be disappointed for tonight. But they can hold their heads high. They gave a good account of themselves on stage 1. come up against two of the very, very best players on the planet right now in Cory Rees and Liam Dunster. So nothing to be ashamed of. And Conor Treacy seems to have started this very well. Wants to finish on a good note. Earn himself a few
that was
dinners.
a good recovery shot there from Conor. He doesn't want to be queuing over this red though.
Yeah, he is. He couldn't have placed it much worse with his hand.
Oh, what a strike that is. Almost
Brilliant.
looked like he needed a step ladder to be able to play that shot, but he couldn't have done any better. And that, a little bit more like it from Conor Treacy. Takes the opening frame in superb fashion. Down to Dean Shields to see what kind of reply he can come up with. Well done, Conor Treacy. We knew it was there. Just needed to be able to relax and let that back arm go.
And you can almost see him telling himself, whilst he sat there, you know, where was this? Where was this the first two matches? I know it's there. I played like it the other night. I played well the other night. Just made a few too many mistakes tonight, Conor. And like we say, you've got to stick that in the past. Can't dwell on it.
Well, one thing about it, we all know about pressure. If you've ever been out there in front of the TV cameras, you
Frame
understand, but the pressure
Finishes
comes
the
from
break.
within.
Trailing 1 frame to 0.
There's only ever one
Time
player
limit.
at the table at any given time. And we all sit in the chair the same way, so. Now down to Dean. We'll see if he can park Conor in his chair.
Just the 4 balls are down off the break for Dean Shields. Wow.
That's all.
There's a bit of anger in those, I think. That was his first 2 matches just unleashed there on that pack.
10 seconds. Extension, please.
Hasn't really left himself anything easy though. There's no starter at all on reds. Yellows, he has an easy starter up into the top right corner pocket, but he's got problems on this right hand side of the table. Yellows are not a plant into the right middle pocket, so you can see just where he's pointing his cue there. Wants to take this cue ball in and out of the bottom side, bottom half of this table. Oh, he's got a lucky nudge there. Well, I say unlucky. Final roll of the ball. Just kind of put him in a bit of a pickle there, but he didn't catch it as he wanted to. He just flicked the red on the way through, which made that cannon, and you think it's going to come out good, but now faced with a very thin cut back into the bottom left corner pocket.
10 seconds.
Oh, great shot. Great recovery. Into a blind pocket. His line of sight was looking away from the target. But what an effort that is.
Yeah, and luckily for Dean, the natural angle, all he had to worry about was the pot there, because just a trace of right hand side and the natural angle was kind of taking it back down to the centre of the table. He's played that very well. Could well be seeing a return of the favour from Dean Shields. Breaking clearance in the first frame from Conor. And a breaking clearance from Dean to go 1 apiece.
Frame.
Well, there you go. Duly acknowledged. 1 apiece. And again, We're seeing a little bit of what these players were capable of. Have you played either of these two in the past, Dan?
I've not played Conor, not in the pro ranks. I may have played him in when I was England sort of youth and juniors, maybe at county level in just a one-off frame. But Dean, I've played
Frame 3.
3 or 4 times, yeah.
Conor Treacy to break. Scores tied at 1 frame all.
Most recently.
Time running.
Very underrated player, Dean. Well, I say underrated, I think everybody knows how good he is, but one of those that you're never surprised to see Dean. You know, if Dean was playing, let's use Liam Dunster as an example, the number 1 in the game at the moment. If Dean was to play Liam in a pro event and beat him 8-3, you're not going to be, yes, it's an upset, but you know he's well capable of it. I think for Dean, it's just the consistency that he needs to work on, and you know, I think he's only made 1 final as a professional, and he's capable of more than that. He really is that good. Got first chance here as well.
Ten seconds.
Well, he's already had 1 time foul. So he's got that clock ticking in his brain.
Yeah, I'll be having nightmares about that tonight, Jim.
Ten seconds.
Yeah, little wry smile from Dean. He didn't want to be straight there. Wanted to be able to get the cue ball out as far as he could from the cushion. Doesn't want to be playing this next shot from the cushion.
10 seconds.
Much less you can do now. Now, if he was, say for argument's sake, in between this yellow on at the bottom of the table and where the white is now, there'd be so much more he could do. Missable now.
10 seconds.
Played it well.
Got to
Tester.
try and knock this one into a very acute angle in that right center. Good shot. Again, you know, it's nice to be able to see what these players are capable of because we know it. They wouldn't be here otherwise.
Frame.
Another clearance. And 2-1. The lead now to Dean Shields.
And it'll be Dean to break next. He's been breaking very well the entire tournament. We're hoping to continue that. He's around about 50%. I think he was exactly 50% before today started in breaking and clearing in stage 1. So in theory, it's 50-50 to clear from the break here. He did clear off his break in the first frame as well. On his first frame, sorry, his first break. Clinical.
Frame 4. Dean Shields to break, leading 2 frames to 1.
And what's more, Dean comes to the table to break. Chance to put a little bit more distance between himself and Conor.
Well, he made 4 balls on his first break. He's made another 2 now. And these yellows look very nice.
Yellow into the center. Another thing noticeable about Dean, he's playing at a much quicker pace. Wonder if this is a little bit more of what we're used to seeing from him when he's in form and feeling it at the table.
Yeah, it's a shame really because you know it's too little, too late. But he doesn't mess about. He's not a slow player, Dean. You know when
10
he's at his
seconds.
best and he's seeing the game clearly. He's seeing it quickly. He does get on with it. He's just almost left himself hand-peculiar in there, but he's fine. And he's kind of like the breaking clearance machine, Dean Shields. Another one.
Frame.
Yeah, and tremendous stuff from Dean Shields. He's probably thinking the same thing, isn't he? Where was this when I needed it?
Yeah, he'll be sat there, be thinking, always the way, always the way. You know, where was his first couple of matches? Look how easy I'm making the game. You can see he's just broken clear and he's sat in the corner shaking his head. Yeah, he's fuming. He's fuming. He's distraught because he's still thinking about those first 2 matches.
Yeah, hard not to really, especially when he knows what he's capable of and what he's now shown us.
But it happens, you know. You've
Frame
got to
5.
just accept it, move on.
Conor Treacy to break.
Everybody
Trailing 3
can
frames to
play
1.
badly under pressure.
Time running.
I remember watching Stephen Hendry against Peter Ebden in the final, in the decider of the World Championship final. Stephen Hendry, when he was a winning machine, he twitched. You know, he crumbled under the pressure. Roger Federer hits them into the net under pressure, scuffs them off. It happens. You got to accept it, move on, don't dwell on it.
Well, there's a lot to be said for living in the present.
Extension, please.
And all the top players, they have that ability.
I think you see it sometimes where players get a little bit too frustrated from their very first mistake in the match, and they let it, the knock-on effect, they kind of let it affect them for the rest of the match. They don't know they're doing it, you know, they're not making a conscious effort to do it, but they kind of get a little bit almost too angry or too frustrated with not playing well that they can hinder themselves for the rest of the match. I've done it myself many times. You try not to. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, the nightmare isn't over yet, Conor. And this will be a day that
Extension, please.
he won't want to log into his memory banks.
No, safe to say, if he's going to watch himself back, he'll probably be watching stage 1 for an ego boost. He certainly won't be watching stage 2.
Is he going to try and squeeze this red between the cushion and the yellow? He's had a look at it, having another one.
Yeah, not sure on this. I think it may well go, but I have to be very accurate. Yeah, nicely done. Very nice.
Almost making the tough look easy now.
Yeah, what a difference an hour makes. Look at that.
Well, he'll get back to his club in Staley Bridge. And he'll probably talk about today. Wishing that he could have started the event out the way that he's finishing it.
Yeah, like most pool players, though, he's his own biggest critic. He won't be happy with tonight's performance. He's played that very well. It's a really good shot from Dean. He had to. It's one thing cheek in a pocket, but it's another one cheek in a pocket into. Oh my God, Dean! What have you done? Talk about take your eye off the ball when you've done all the hard work.
You can laugh about it.
It's laugh or cry, isn't it, Jim?
Well, it would have been crying if it would have been as meaningful. But he already knows that his fate in terms of this event is pretty well sealed.
It's another one of the types of frustration that Paul can chuck at you. He wouldn't have missed that if it was a deciding frame and there was something on it. You know, but when you're a bit down in the dumps, if you like, you haven't qualified, you haven't done what you came here to do, but you want to play well, it's even harder to concentrate. You see it quicken up a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're making silly mistakes like Conor's just made now. It will frazzle your brain, this game, Jim.
If you have a brain.
Gonna make it? Oh, wow.
1 free shot, 1 visit.
When
Time
it's
running.
not your
Yeah.
night, it is not your night.
That is just about as typical
Time
as
up.
it's been for Conor Treacy right there.
Yeah, that yellow, I think that
Time
yellow
running.
was just about to drop as well. You just gotta laugh sometimes, don't you? That's for a 4-1 win for Dean Shields.
Frame
Yeah, it's in the
match.
books now.
Dean Shields
Dean
and
Shields 4-1 over Conor Treacy, so he gets the dinner money. And we've got one match yet to come, and it's one that's going to give us the favorites. Liam Dunster and Cory Rees.
Dan Davey, the truest words all evening, what he said there. Where has he been for the last hour?
It's berserk, innit? We're not sure where that's come from. He's had a great performance there. I know he missed that last ball there, which was could have been, could have forgiven, but obviously out of the competition. But he has doubled his money. That's about the positive.
Double your money. Do you remember that? Yuri Green. Yuri Green. Now, there's an old timer there. Double your money.
But who is going to win the group? Someone has got to win this group. Is it going to be Liam Dunster? Is it going to be Cory Rees? If this match finished level, they'll all be level, but there have to be a winner, right? Because obviously there's some people that are betted on being a group winner. And so that means there will be a black ball shootout if this match ends at 3-3.
I think Liam Dunster's the best even money chance I've seen at Paul. This is day 7. I want to be with Liam Dunster. Even money. If you want to play, we'll be back in 3 minutes.
Champions Cup Stage 2, Group A match. Best of 6 frames. First frame, Cory Rees to break. Time running.
And a match that we have all been waiting for anxiously. The top two men in this group take center stage. It's Wales versus Scotland. Cory Rees, the man at the table. And who will win the group? Every single match so far, Dan, has been one-sided. Nothing closer than 4-1. I'm betting this one might be a little closer.
Yeah, it should be. Both players in top form tonight, clinical. I think Cory more so. I think Cory and Liam, to be honest, haven't had to be at their brilliant best to win both their first matches. Both won them 4-0 and 4-1. But they've just been so clinical and mopping up after their opponent's mistakes. And the cream really has risen to the top in this group so far. But they're both through to tomorrow. That was the objective. They don't care if they finish first or second at the start of the day. But now it's there. Now it's up for grabs. If anything, they want to lay down a marker for tomorrow because they're going to be playing each other again. Not tomorrow, Tuesday. They're going to be playing each other again Tuesday in the final group of Event 1. So, you know, you kind of want to get a little bit of one up on the other guy. Dent his confidence before you meet again.
10 seconds.
The key to this frame is going to be that red on the right hand side cushion. Doesn't go anywhere, needs dislodging. And Liam's got the perfect ball to do it.
He's weighing up exactly where to leave the cue ball now to open that red.
Yeah. Another one of these where you see
10
just
seconds.
how important cue ball control is, because if he leaves himself the perfect angle here, which I don't think he has, then it's a fairly easy cannon. I don't know if he can just cheek the pocket a little bit, I'm not too sure, but if the cue ball had been just 3-4 inches lower down the table, this would have been quite an easy cannon. Yeah, as it is, he's played a really good shot. He's had to force it. He's had to play it, you see from the replay, into the right-hand side of that middle pocket to force the angle. But like everything he does, makes the tricky stuff look so easy.
And all born because he controls that cue ball so well.
Yep. Even when he's out of position, he seems to only be slightly out of position. Just little shots like that as well. The importance of leaving yourself the correct angle and stunning back those 2-3 inches. If he goes back, if he stuns back a little bit more, all of a sudden he's losing the cue ball towards the top left corner pocket, and he hasn't got such a simple connector to the black. Cue ball on a string. It makes the game look easy.
And to take the opening frame, black bottom left.
Frame.
The surgeon at the table, Liam Dunster, completes the clearance. Wasn't easy when he came to the table, but he made it look easy. 1-0. Slim advantage over Cory Rees. And what's worse for Cory is that was his break, so effectively against the serve. So Liam already at the table chalking up.
Frame 2. Liam Dunster to break, leading 1-0. Time running.
And settling in to that high level of focus that he maintains throughout.
He switched sides as well. Is that an experiment for tomorrow? Does he genuinely think that he needed to switch sides for his break? And he's lost the cue ball there as well, because normally he gets the cue ball to track back into the pack, so he'll hit second ball down and the cue ball will hit the side cushion and come straight back towards where the black spot is.
10 seconds.
And he's lost the cue ball there.
Extension, please.
But he still made a ball. I think this now, he's kind of got that brain where he might well be thinking that far ahead. Let's experiment. Let's see how this table breaks if I switch sides up. I might be able to use that tomorrow. Won't put it past him. Talking of what sort of brain he's got on him, Jim. Liam Dunster
10 seconds.
Was, I think, county level at chess. He won the European Championships at junior level at Taekwondo, even though he wasn't a black belt. And he also played green bowls to international level as well.
10 seconds.
One of those guys that you kind of love to hate because he's just good at everything, really.
He obviously likes to be intellectually challenged. Not surprised at all that he's a good chess player.
Well, I think that's the one that comes across in his pool the most. The tactician when he needs it.
10 seconds.
But also the touch. Well, me personally, I find green bowls very boring. But it is all about touch. It is all about the pace at which you deliver that ball. And the touch and control that Liam has over that white, it's all right. Making your long pots and playing with side, left, right, and centre, whatever you want to, however you want to describe it. But his touch, when he needs to just top it through a few inches, stun back a few inches, he's got it on a string. Just something about that hand-eye coordination that he seems to know how to get the best out of himself. A little bit out of
Don't
position
get any
there,
emotion whatsoever from him either, do you, Dan?
No, he's quite
His
a smart
facial
guy.
expression just doesn't change.
No, he's level-headed like that. You know, he's one of them. I feel the same, really. If you're going to get angry, frustrated, why let your opponent know about it? Why? There's nothing in it for you. All you're going to do is make them more confident by showing that you're annoyed and angry. And also, why bother getting annoyed and angry? You know, it's going to happen. You're going to miss now and again. You're going to run out of position. Just don't dwell on it. But what we said before, it's 1,000 times easier to say it than it is to do it.
Negotiated the gap.
Yeah, this one's a real test of cueing as well.
10 seconds.
Screw up between that gap between the black and the yellow. You see he's hit the yellow, and that was his margin of error. That was as low as he wanted to be. Played it well.
Frame.
Flawless. You see why they call him the Duster, because when he gets the chance, he cleans the table. 2-0 over Cory Rees. You know, almost opposite ends of the spectrum when you see Cory out there, and we now know why he's called Jibs. You know, the difference between he and Liam Dunster, miles apart. Probably the expressions on their faces.
Frame 3. Cory Rees to break. Drilling 2
Polar
frames to nil.
opposites when it comes to
Time running.
mannerisms in and around the table. Liam, very stone-faced. Cory, quite the opposite. I won't quite say heart on sleeve, but very fidgety around the table. He's hit a very good break there, but nothing down. That's harsh.
Yeah, the break, when you get to this level,
10 seconds.
sometimes matches are won and lost just on that success rate of your break. And you've got to have a good break. To be competitive, you've got to be able to halt the tide.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the, I know this, I'm talking
10
from
seconds.
experience. I wish I wasn't, but sometimes when your back's against the wall, you try and hit the break almost a little bit too hard, and you can lose a bit of timing from it, and therefore you actually don't get as good a split as you want.
Well, Dan, you can mark that one down on your scorecards because Liam Dunster has actually missed position. He's lost the white there.
Yeah, I've
and
got
he's
my
run out of
notes here,
position.
Jim. I've got my notes here, Jim, and I'm looking for the section where I tick off that Liam Dunster's run out of position. I haven't got one, so I'm just going to have to leave you for a second while I create one. You just don't see it from him.
Well, is there still a possibility you can get through to this red? No, he tried to create something.
One free shot, one
And that's
visit.
a foul, nothing
Time running.
contacting a cushion after cue ball contacts object ball. So that's a big mistake from Liam. We'll see if Cory can take advantage.
Yeah, I wasn't touching ball, so yeah, like you say, after he made contact, somebody had to hit a cushion.
Extension, please.
Contacted that second red quite full, which killed the pace out of the cue ball. But even Cory with his 2 shots now is taking his extension, just figuring out exactly how he wants to go about this. Still thinking.
10
You've got 10
seconds.
seconds, Cory. I like that as a first shot. It's good. He's actually as well, I don't know how intentional it was, but he knew he was always going to likely be on both balls to either bottom corner pocket, but if he wants to, he can leave the one on the bottom right corner there, and that's going to make a
10
bigger
seconds.
pocket for him when he plays the one just below the right middle pocket into this corner.
Ten seconds.
Yeah, I'm looking for problems. I don't see any.
Not really. The only thing that could cause him a problem, that life would
10
be a lot
seconds.
easier if the red in the centre of the table over towards the left middle wasn't there. Just a little bit of unwanted traffic for Cory as he's making his way around these yellows, but I shouldn't expect it to cause him too much of an issue.
Ten seconds.
See there the yellow grazing the other yellow on the way in. Probably wouldn't have dropped if that yellow wasn't there. So he's got the benefit of that yellow, making it a bigger pocket. But he's just sort of betwixt and between here.
10 seconds.
He's played it well. And he's got the perfect angle as well to come down table for the yellow bottom right corner pocket. Very good recovery shot.
Ten seconds.
Didn't want to be clean
much
off the
needed
cushion.
opportunity here at the frame for Cory. But as you said, Dan, he's just going to leave himself a tricky black into that center pocket.
Yeah, one of those, you know, when you're 2-0 down, it tends to be that if you can hit one where it lands on the side cushion, it kind of tends to happen. You know, if he was 2-0 up, I'm sure he'd have played it with a little bit more authority and been closer to his work, but should be fine.
Frame.
Good clearance. That one from Cory Rees, and much needed. Pulls one back, still 2-1 to Liam. But Cory, or Jibs, as he's affectionately known, back on course.
Jibs jibbing away, flicking his face with his thumb, fidgeting about, hoping for a Liam Dunster dry break. We're going to see him go over to the right hand side again.
Frame 4. Liam Dunster to break. Leading 2
Looks like we
frames to
are.
1. Time running.
Well, he's gone over to the right-hand side as we look again.
Yeah, but that's not what he's looking for. So he's made a ball, first and foremost, but he looks for control off his break, and he's lost the cue ball again. It's not connecting high enough up that side cushion. It's gone twice across and almost gone into the bottom right corner pocket. That's not what he's looking to achieve with that break.
10 seconds. Extension, please.
Be interesting to see what he does if he gets to break again in this match. And as it is, I mean, you always want to leave the cue ball centre of the table because you're more likely to have options. As it is now, if he wants a red, where's his first red coming from? Yellow. He's got one into the left middle.
10 seconds.
You always want to have both options if you can.
Well, he's
A
having a
little bit
look
of
now.
traffic.
He's thinking 3 shots ahead, I think now, Dan. He's given himself this yellow. So he needs to see where he can be in the middle of the table to afford position to the
10
tricky
seconds.
ones.
Yeah, and this is going to need to be Liam at his very best in terms of cue ball control. The yellow in the very centre of the table, I think he wants to get himself dead straight on that into the top left corner pocket. Because if he can do that, he can drift the cue ball a couple of inches above that And he's got a very small window to land in
10 seconds.
to be able to play the yellow into the right middle pocket. He actually is going to go into it now. Can just graze past the red. He'll take that. Slightly hampered queuing. I don't think that was his original plan, but sometimes you see different things when you're down on the shop. Actually, I've got an opportunity. Why not go into it now? You never know with somebody like Liam. Maybe that was his plan all along, was to give himself options.
10
If he
seconds.
did land with that angle, he can go into the red. If he doesn't, he can come back to it the next shot and attack. It's just yet another finish where, you know, he's gone about his work and doesn't look like he's done anything special, but he has.
10 seconds.
He is a formidable foe. Of that, you can rest assured.
He's one of those players, because he isn't exactly flamboyant,
10
doesn't have a monster break. You really need to watch him for quite a long period of time and play him a couple of times before you really understand. You know he's good, of course you do, but you need to play him and watch him quite a lot to realise just how good he is.
Frame.
No, we're witnessing it here. Front and center, 3-1. Dunster over Rees. There you see the tables, how it's all unfolding. Liam Dunster, as you would expect, looks to be the last man standing.
Nine to 2, Jim, for Liam Dunster to win all 3 matches tonight with one of our betting partners. And they got stung on night 1 when Liam Dunster played, and he was as big as, I think, 13 to 2, and he won all 3 matches 4-0. Are they going to get stung again
Frame 5.
tonight? It looks like it.
Cory Rees to break, trailing 3 frames to 1. Time running.
Nice to see him lose now and again.
Especially if you're Cory Rees. Winding it up, he needs a good break. And then he needs to hope. Because he'd be in his chair watching Liam break in the last. He needs to hope for Liam to hiccup.
It was a massive break, but that seems to
Extension,
happen when you're chasing the match. Not an absolute gimme of a table. Quite an easy opener on yellows, but 2 yellows on that right-hand side cushion. We've seen Cory just take his extension. So you get 30 seconds to play each shot, and a further 30-second extension, 1 per frame per player.
Ten seconds.
Just mopping the brow again. Just wiped his feet. Luckily,
He's
still
a
got
very
the yellow into the
fluid
top corner
potter.
pocket.
And long shots don't faze him at all. He's got a lot of self-belief.
10 seconds.
Yeah, made slightly more difficult from queuing off the cushion. made that look very easy. Yeah, still not happy. Still not recovered the situation. And I suppose, you know, we were talking about Liam and how well he controls the cue ball, and this is the other side of it.
10 seconds.
Just slightly out of position, and before you know it, the following shot, you're even more out of position than you were before. And you're having to put out shots like that to keep yourself in the game. But a very good shot from Cory. Cued it so sweet, really smooth. He's back in prime position.
10 seconds.
Just doesn't want to leave himself straight on his last yellow. Doesn't want to be playing the black across the net off the cushion. He'd like to just get that cue ball away
10
slightly if he can.
seconds.
That's just about perfect.
Ten seconds.
Confident strike. And this black to get back to 3-2 and await the Liam Dunster break.
Frame.
Well, that's all he can do. Mission accomplished. 3-2 to Liam. And frame number 6 upcoming.
Now, what are we going to see from Liam's break again? Twice. He's gone over to the Ryan side of the table in this match. And although he's made a ball, I know he won't be happy with it. Looks like he's going to persevere.
Well, if you
Frame
want to
6.
dwell on positives,
Liam
Cory
Dunster
Rees
break.
has
Leading 3 frames
just
to
won
2.
twice as many
Time running.
frames against Liam as he's lost in the event to this stage.
Start the shot clock, please.
Something to build on.
Yeah, and ridiculous statistic for Liam Dunster fans.
And what a time for a dry break.
Yeah, but again, you know, just lost the cue ball. I'll be very surprised if he sticks with that break on Tuesday.
Extension, please.
Seemed to be breaking better from the left-hand side of the table in his first couple of matches. Yet to see the front ball smashed tonight. It was Cory with first chance.
Now, Dan, as we look on and with the score line, you remember what Mark Pickworth was saying? If they draw this, then there has to be a shootout because there has to be a group winner.
Really? Well, I for one want to see it, if that's the case.
So does Cory Rees.
Time out.
think he feels like he's just got a bad contact there. The cue ball did seem to almost jump a little bit there. I think that was a kick.
Time running.
Yeah, because our betting partners, they need a group winner, and they've both won 8 frames and lost just 1 going into this match. So if it does turn out to be a draw, they're going to be tied on frame difference, tied on frames won, obviously tied on points. So we need a group winner. I've got to hold my hand up and say that
10 seconds.
I didn't know that. Now I do. I really want to see it.
You and every pool fan watching.
Paul's version of a penalty shootout.
Ten seconds.
Well, just this yellow. And the black to follow, and we're going to get our wish.
Frame.
There you have it.
Match is tied.
3
frames
apiece.
all.
And settle back in. Shootout it is.
Yeah, get the
Jim?
popcorn ready.
Who's going to win this? I don't know now, do we, Mark?
No, it's going to be a sudden death shootout. So it's going to be white on the brown spot, as in snooker, in the middle of the baulk line, and then the black ball will be on the black spot. So the players can't touch the white or the black, so it'll be down to Brian Moss to make sure they're in the correct position, and it's going to be a sudden death shootout. It's the only way of deciding it. There's got to be a group winner.
Fairest way as well, isn't it, to win Group A?
It's brutal, but we've got to have a winner for the group. So this is the way that we're going to do it.
Cool. When are we going to do it? We're going to do it now?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Let's do it. Brian, over to you.
You first.
Let's do it. Got to know where I have to be, Dan. I don't. You do?
Yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah.
I'm loving it. I've played in one of these before, Jim. They're horrible. They are horrible. And when we played in them, so you were allowed the cue ball anywhere behind the line for the first 5 shots, and if you were still tied after 5 shots, then the cue ball had to go on the brown spot.
Well, I'll tell you what. Check your nerve at the door. This is where you really are under pressure.
Liam
Yeah,
Dunster to
you
shoot first.
can play these plain ball
Time running.
and you don't go in off. If you pot it thick, you might graze the jaw. Some players I've seen actually stun these in. Not for me.
Miss.
Ooh. You see there, he's missed it thick and potted the cue ball. Now, if you pot it thick, I can assure you, you don't go in off. You might hit the jaw. First up for Liam, he's missed. It's Cory Rees for the win.
So Cory knocks this in and wins the group.
There'll be a lot of people out there with money on this that this means an awful lot to.
Cory Rees to shoot. Time running.
I suggest that most of them are probably Welsh.
Well, he is some terrific potter, is Cory Rees. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he knocks this in.
Nowhere near, Jim.
I thought
nowhere
it would.
near.
I thought it would be closer than that.
Miss.
There's your. I'll tell you what. There's your first real example of big time pressure coming to the fore. As great as these two players are, and as well as they've played, that was pressure with a capital P.
Yeah, they've been on the night. They have been so much better than the other two, and
Liam Dunster to shoot.
you're seeing the
Time
pressure
running.
really being ramped up now. And two, yeah, it's quite nice to see sometimes as a fellow player, seeing these the elite struggle. There we go.
Well, a gauntlet has been thrown. And now to stay alive, Cory's got to knock it in.
Yeah, over to you, Corey. I see our referee, Brian Moss, strategically placing the black, because obviously we now have the stripe with the black, places it in exactly the same spot for both players.
And you got to wonder if he's going to play it with bottom
Cory
again.
Rees to shoot. Time running.
Try and pull the
Took the
cue
words
ball
out
over
my
to the
mouth.
side cushion.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Jim. He's missed it thick again.
Miss.
He
Liam
didn't
Dunster wins the
change,
shootout.
so Liam Dunster wins the group. A tremendous effort. All to play for as the tournament unwinds. And what an evening of pool we've had. Gentlemen, I'll wager you enjoyed it.
Well, 48 hours time, we'll have a rematch, won't we? I don't know if it got a black ball then for final night, but Liam's won the group. But very, very, very close. Well, let's look at the league table as well here, Mark, and absolutely nothing in it, is there, mate?
And exactly as it says, that it's completely level. And they're still both unbeaten. So they'll take that record into Tuesday's final. But how much will them black ball shootouts play on Cory's mind when they come back on Tuesday? Because they're going to have to play it again. And it is going to be another shootout on that day to be an event winner. Because there only can be one winner on Tuesday.
Yeah, but Mark, I know you were saying about the two tonight, but tomorrow night, we've got 4 good players again tomorrow night here, aren't we? And there's, I know you said to me tomorrow, any of these tomorrow can go through to the final. There's 4 real good players we've got tomorrow, haven't we?
Yeah, it's completely wide open. Jamie Clark, Tom Barley, Dan Davey.
Barley played well. Dan Davey, he's been commentating.
Andy
on that,
Crosdale, anybody can go through that group. It is wide open. But who out of them two is going to be joining Liam Dunster and Cory Rees in Tuesday's final? It's going to be very, very interesting.
Dan's got to be favourite, isn't he? I would have thought tomorrow night. He's
Yeah,
got to be.
he is favourite, and he was also, before tonight's matches, he was a second favourite in with some of our betting partners to win event 1. So he's going to take some
Jamie
beating.
Clark, when he won, he was 8-1 to win the group last week. I think he'll be the outsider again tomorrow, Jamie Clark, to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the way that Tom played. Jamie Clark, I think that 8-1 thing's sort of going to follow him again tomorrow. And when we are looking at odds and when we're talking about them tomorrow in our show, it'll be interesting to see how that sort of turns out.
I'm learning, isn't I? Jamie Clark outsider last week. Jamie Clark be outsider tomorrow. I can't wait for tomorrow. Second semi-final, isn't it, really, tomorrow? And don't forget on Tuesday, well, final night, and it can't wait for that. But we've had a great night tonight. Thanks for everyone involved. Thanks for you for watching. And we'll be back tomorrow for second semi-final night, won't we, Mark? Sporty stuff, Champions Cup pool.